Hi guys, I'm Ed from Trustpilot. I've met obviously some of you before, but nice to meet some new faces as well. I'm going to be talking a bit about trust and reviews in the omni-channel world. So obviously, reviews becoming more and more common, more sort of important for e-com and different businesses in general. So we talk a bit about paradox of choice as part of this. So due to COVID, so many more options online. People, hybrid working, spending more time online shopping. I'm going to talk a bit about purchase paralysis, how that can come about from that. Trust in the omnichannel world, what that looks like, and then how businesses can leverage reviews and that trust within their strategy. So kicking off, paradox of choice. So to set the scene, maybe like 20 or 30 years ago, you wanted to buy some coffee, you'd go down to your local supermarket, look at maybe 4 or 5 different options of coffee bean. You'd find the one you want, take it home, put the kettle on, stir it with your spoon, enjoy it, have a lovely coffee, problem solved. However, now, it's very different to that. If you're buying coffee online, you might have 20 different options. It's going to take you longer to filter through those, no pun intended, and actually decide on the coffee that you want to drink, right? And this is kind of the paradox of too much choice. As consumers, we think, yes, more choice is better. Brilliant, I can find the exact type of coffee I want to drink. But, we're all people, choice can be too much. I like to think that, if I've got an hour before bed, want to stick on Netflix, I'll probably spend 20 minutes scrolling on Netflix, 10 minutes on Prime, and then just go on my phone for the last half an hour because I couldn't find anything. And I don't know about you, but if I'm wanting to buy a t-shirt or hoodie, again, I'll browse maybe 2 or 3 different sites. I'll ultimately just get bored because there's too much out there, and I just give up. So this is kind of the challenge for a lot of us as consumers because of the choice in the market now. Now, that can obviously detract from us actually buying something. And for businesses, because of the choice, it's so much harder to stand out. Price points for similar T-shirts are probably going to be pretty comparable. And the key things that may sway people are, okay, does this merchant offer next day delivery? What's their returns policy like? Is it an impulse buy? Am I just on the spot from Instagram now want to buy something? So it's a lot harder for businesses to try and stand out and ultimately capture that purchase from a consumer. So why does this all matter? So because of more choice, purchase paralysis is a real thing. By moving online, more options, there is more for us to look at, but does that actually result in more purchases? Unsure. There's a really good, I think, a story from a while ago where they gave people a different selection of jam jars. One setting there was 9 jam jars, and the other setting there was 20 jam jars. Each one you could try, each kind of jam for free. And they basically found that the people who tried from the 9 selection actually ended up buying more than the people who tried from the 20-odd types of jam because of the quantity there was. And because of this, we're seeing people have a higher criteria to actually buy something. So generally speaking, people are either kind of a maximizer or a sufficer. Basically, maximizers, they need to have everything perfect in order to make a decision. So the price has to be right. All of their requirements have to be spot on for them to make a purchase. Super long, sales cycle for them. Whereas sufficers, they've got kind of a threshold of information that they just need a brand to meet before they'll ultimately buy. So we did a bit of a study based on kind of online shopping habits. Now, out of the people we surveyed, 2/3, no surprise, that they've been buying more online. With lockdown, hybrid working, this is kind of natural, and probably most of us are in the same boat. Part of this is a lot of people said physical stores don't always have the inventory. Again, the difference with going to a physical store is if you're going on a holiday, you may last minute need some sunglasses. H&M, whatever, maybe around the corner, TK Maxx, need something quickly. You can pop in and find what you need and try it on. And there are a few people who said they aren't shopping more online just simply because they didn't prefer it to begin with. So generally, despite people shopping more, there were several caveats. So while there are more options, they found that decision paralysis was real. On the floor, they can compare prices. They often feel that the salesperson in the store might try and push them to the more expensive option. But they did find it harder to narrow down their searches while online because of all the options. And from this, about 2/3 of people found they had given up on a purchase at some point. The online shopping experience, as I mentioned, on the face of it, it's great. There is more options, but in reality, because of the so much choice there is for people, if there's something wasn't quite right, if they didn't meet all the criteria someone was looking for, such as next day delivery, great returns policy, took too long, ultimately that put a lot of people off from buying. So this kind of sets the scene of the online world now, and now we're going to look at kind of how and why trust is important and how it can help business and merchants try and navigate some of these difficulties. So people aren't just buying through one channel. People are going online for different stages of the journey. Let's say if you are buying a car, you're probably going to look at different finance options online. You're going to look on Auto Trader. You ultimately probably want to go into a dealer as well to take a look, meet some of the people, feel comfortable about buying that car, take it for a test drive. So both online and offline, it's really important for brands and merchants to have that trust. If someone's at that decision moment in store and they don't have that trust, that whole kind of online journey that you've put loads of work into before can essentially be rendered useless if they don't ultimately buy because something has happened in store. So looking at some stats, so according to Deloitte, consumers spend about 208% more with omni-channel retailers. And about 45% of UK shoppers browse online in their free time, and about 22% buy after seeing something on social. So massive scope for, again, showcasing trust at that moment, leveraging the tools and channels that are ultimately going to drive people to purchasing. And according to Search Engine Land, nearly 80% of local mobile searches left to purchases offline. So if you're, capturing attention of people online, keeping that trust high, really important, then when they come offline, again, they've got that in their mind, but you've got something offline that's going to help them get over that line. So in terms of the search process, so, most searches will begin online. Nearly 90% of people check reviews on some shape or form before making a purchase, from a report Canvas 8 did a couple of years ago. So having that trust early on, super important. That can ultimately make or break, right, if someone's going to go further. If, say, you're looking to change bank provider and you're looking at reviews from Monzo or like Santander or HSBC, the key things you're going to look for are kind of, is the app good? What's the customer service like? How long does it take to set up? If you're looking through those reviews and you don't see the reviews you're looking for on either provider, that's probably going to have a big impact into you signing up. Something goes wrong with your banking app, you're going to be pretty frustrated. It's going to be a mess to sort out. So this is where reviews can obviously be super important. And reviews can answer a lot of questions that your prospective customers may have that they're not actually asking you. So we'll look at some examples in a minute, but reviews can talk about, Tom on the phone was super helpful. He actually told me about an offer I hadn't seen online. He talked me through the returns process, really helpful, so I know that before I buy an item, for argument's sake. So if we're thinking about an omnichannel experience where your consumers are going to find you and when you're going to be to have your business in front of them, kind of search, referrals from family, friends, and even strangers, people at work, social media, advertising, physical showrooms, and then any influencers or brand ambassadors as well. So looking at how trust can be incorporated all of these, leveraging those trust signals on search, on the site and social and ads, and then really bolstering those referrals based on reviews from people. So how can this look within an omnichannel strategy? So we know that reviews remain supreme for influence and trust. So this kind of stat from 2021 shows that reviews and user-generated review sites kind of are the most influential, well, just in line with social media in terms of influencing someone making a purchase. So above mainstream media, friends and family, and expert review sites. So we can see a collection of reviews from here from different brands. Now, to look at these in terms of answering potential questions, so if we look at this bottom one, for example, this person purchased their car from Cinch, and the delivery driver showed them a couple of features that the person wasn't aware of at all. If we look at this one on the bottom right, someone talking about a bank, they're talking about their overdraft and applications, how easy they were to use. And then if we've got the top right, we've got Laura, who's helped this person out at the showroom for one of their branches. So how this helps is, someone who's maybe looking to buy from the new Cross branch, they can read this feedback. This is going to sell the experience to them. They're going to, they may have had questions about the applications. That again, their concerns are being kind of reassured there by the review on the right. And reviews just give that holistic view of a business for your customers selling it for you and answering questions that you may have without needing to ask the business directory. From a social proof point of view, so all businesses kind of need some sort of trust signals on their website, whether that's which, whether that's, we're featured in the Times, we were best rated in X 2021, etc., to give consumers that trust and confidence there on site. And pulling through reviews is kind of one of the most classic ways for merchants. So Laguna Pearl is an example of how they pulled through their reviews. They saw 38% increase in click-through rates to their site by leveraging it in their assets, and then almost a 10% increase in cart abandonment. I think if we're bringing this back to the online journey, is that if you're thinking about, okay, I've got these 5 different options, probably one of the key differentiators is going to be reviews. If people are talking about the customer service was great, the product arrived on time, really good value, great quality, when you're comparing different options, if one has that and others don't, that's going to give you a bit more confidence and something tangible to think about that business, probably more as an option for you than one that doesn't. If you don't see reviews, you're probably going to go out your way to look for them to a degree, particularly if it's a high-value purchase. You want to make sure you can kind of see, have that confidence from other people having bought it before. And so how it can look, so from an offline and online example, Flight Centre, so they obviously will pull through kind of their ratings, their social proof onto their ads. They'll pull it through in physical showrooms or branches so that when people, I guess, are thinking about going on a holiday, they've got a local Flight Centre near them. They can see that's going to help them go in if they're looking for options or ultimately make an inquiry or book through them on site. From a collection point of view, so we'll often think, most businesses will collect reviews online through like an email trigger post-purchase. Given that a huge amount of, sales are still going offline, there's a massive opportunity for retailers who've got those physical stores to capture that feedback. So that could be through a QR code on a receipt. It could be through people who sign up to like a points program in store, collect their email addresses, get a review request, and equally use that data to serve them into marketing campaigns. Could be through Klaviyo, etc., to pull through, again, those targeted campaigns to people who've bought from you, get them into those flows again. And then if we look at an omni-channel experience of buying a car, so say kind of you're looking to buy an Audi or a Ford, whatever it is, from Sitna, you're probably going to read a bit about their reviews. You're going to go onto Auto Trader. You're going to see what people are saying to give you confidence to go into the dealer and take a look. Then when you get in, you could see people, the businesses pulling through their reviews on screens, leveraging those trust signals. So when you're in store and you're at that moment of, okay, I want to put down a deposit, I want to buy this car, you don't want anything to negate from, do I trust this company? Are they going to try and screw me off? This is going to be a problem with a car. These trust signals should go a massive way in ultimately helping to get you over the line. And then going onto the website or seeing ads, again, here's how auto companies, as an example, can pull them through. And then for a retail example, so not quite omni-channel, but multi-channel as such. So say you're looking to buy a washing machine, you obviously see different ads. For AO, you can see their trust signals or reviews pulling through into their PPC ads to help people get through to the website. We're all obviously super simple humans, gold stars look nice, that's going to draw our attention more from one that doesn't. So here's how they can drive traffic to the website, how they're showcasing their trust. So on their Instagram ads, different products, on their Twitter, over 300,000 reviews. Again, just demonstrating that social proof and showcasing that at all points where their customers may be. TV ad as well, you may have seen it recently, pulling through, again, their trust signals and score. And then they've actually got a whole page on their website specifically dedicated to social proof, snippets of their reviews and how they're showcasing all that excellent customer service and feedback that they've got. And then just to finish, an example of how reviews can be used online and offline. So Trailfinders is quite a cool, albeit kind of weird example. So they were building a new branch, and what they did is put a review on the building work so that when people are walking past it, they can see, oh, Trailfinders is going to be there. Oh, okay, that's some good feedback about them already. Yodel, you can see an example of on a receipt, again, showcasing that trust signal. Others will have that QR code on there. Tappy Carpets, Grind, the tube ads, you love putting it on there, and then just other examples as well. Oh yeah, that's all my slides. I think any questions? Thanks. I'd say to get reviews from people, so I think a lot of businesses assume that if they just sort of people will write a review on their own, which is super unlikely to happen unless someone's quite pissed off. So what we'd always say is the best way is to actively ask people to leave a review. The easiest way is to have that automated. So after someone makes a purchase, say a week after the product's been delivered, oh, how was your order from X and Y? What did you think of the product? Would you be happy to leave us a quick review there? That's the easiest way. In terms of turning reviews around, so let's say if customer service is a part of your business you massively pride yourself on, and you get a 1-star review that you're not particularly happy with, probably one of the worst things you can do is just leave it there, kind of stagnant, not engage with it. It's an opportunity for business to be like, oh, hi John, I'm really sorry your order was slightly late. You know, we are having some difficulties with Royal Mail, for argument's sake. Let us know how we can help. We want to try and turn this around for you. I think if people are reading reviews, I will normally filter by 1 star straight away to see, you know, what's gone wrong. Do I agree with that person, yes or no? Can I have my own view of the situation? Good thing with Trustpilot is you can obviously reply. That reply will be public to other consumers as well. So you can try and alleviate, I guess, some of the potential unhappiness with a review. And often we'll see people will update their review if they're like, oh, spoke with John. He sorted out my issue, updating this to 3 stars from 1 star, etc. I don't think it's on the roadmap currently. I think it is, I can understand why, from a time-saving point of view, kind of create different variations of review responses. I think the challenge is going to be, could someone tell that's from a bot? And like, if you buy from someone and response is, oh, thanks for your review, really appreciate it. You're like, okay, does that feel like I've been paid attention to? So it's an interesting one. It might happen, but at the moment, I don't think so. It's a good question. So I think I'd say if you're a new company on a block, if people are searching for reviews, because typically kind of the SEO of Trustpilot, domain authority is so high, if you've got that profile and you've got content on there, you're going to probably come up when people search company name reviews. I think if it's a competitive space and reviews become as one of the differentiators between merchants, then you can at least be on like an equal footing with big players who maybe, you know, have got loads of reviews. At least you'll have some. You can, I think what we've seen before is so I used to be an account manager, and often the kind of smaller brands, or let's say you're sort of a startup, they might have a really engaged customer base, so they may be more passionate about leaving reviews, they kind of feel more part of the community, and then I think that can help pull in, you know, prospective buyers as well from saying, oh, you know, love the brand, love the ethos, love what it's about, compared to maybe, you know, just like an ASOS, which is kind of just like churning out clothes, etc. I'd say as well I guess the fortunate thing about Trustpilot having grown quite a lot is new brands can kind of lean on that brand value as well. It's sort of, oh, these are like verified reviews. Trustpilot's obviously free to set up, so any business can set up for free and start covering reviews. So yeah, definitely suggest it. I think as well, like with reviews, there's probably been a shift towards, oh, like the purpose of reviews is to like show it on your website and green stars, nice on the ads, but like in reality, obviously the core of it is knowing what people are really happy with, what they aren't unhappy with. If someone, you know, buys from you and says, oh, it never showed up, if they don't tell you that as a brand, they tell all your mates, oh, don't buy from this company, like it never turned up, quality was awful. Unless they tell you about that, you're not going to know that. And so kind of the challenge is if you don't sort of try and uncover some of these issues by gathering that feedback. It's going to be really hard to know if there are problems. And then on the flip side, when you've got great reviews, that's a way to celebrate with your team. Like, oh, Sammy, she's doing amazingly in the team. People keep leaving her a review. Let's kind of congratulate Sammy for all the great work she's doing, and then you can turn that into obviously a positive to share. But I think at its core, reviews is always about that customer feedback, understanding what's going well, what's going less well, to try and improve the business processes and make sure ultimately customers are staying longer, they're not churning, because you can identify what's coming up. Yeah, we did. So we've done 2 transparency reports that we published online around breakdown of reviews, how many fake reviews we removed from Trustpilot. For 5-star, the percentage from I think last year was about 74% of all reviews were 5-star on Trustpilot. I can't remember what the other 4 breakdown were, but that's often a question businesses will say, oh, if I ask for reviews, I'm just going to get bad feedback because I'm worried about opening up the box. We'll be like, well, we can tell you that nearly 3/4 are 5-star reviews from what we see. The best thing to do is ask. You're going to tap into the silent majority of customers who are probably fairly happy. Just, we're probably all the same. Probably only leave a review if you go to an amazing restaurant or amazing hotel when you get asked. We're all busy. You're probably not going to go out of your way to do it naturally. Yeah, it's a big problem. I think so Trustpilot, I think it was 2.7 million reviews Trustpilot removed last year that we deemed as fake, which is obviously a massive amount, right? That's a lot of reviews. A lot of businesses could be unhappy about that. I think for us, it's so important that consumers and brands can trust the reviews that they're reading. So we've got sort of robots in place to kind of immediately scan for fake reviews. We've got software, so we'll kind of take a reading of, do we think this review could be fake based on certain patterns that our software can detect? If so, we kind of take it temporarily offline. Then one of the team will reach out to the person and say, by the way, we've removed your review. If you can attach any supporting evidence of why you believe it's genuine, send it back to us. But yeah, it's a massive problem. I think, obviously Amazon's had its questions about fake reviews. I think, people need to trust what they can read online, otherwise it just kind of takes all value out of it.
So you've got a bot that's combating the other bots.
Yes, yes, yeah. Yes. Yes. Yeah, it's a good question. So again, without knowing the kind of exact situation or case, Trustpilot's closed down business accounts for kind of fraudulent activity, for trying to game the system. We will put alerts sometimes on businesses' profiles if we know they're, again, gaming the system, if we know that they're collecting fake reviews. I think what was quite a big thing is when all the, obviously, COVID tests were booming, on quite a lot of COVID test companies, there was a banner just sort of saying, just so you know, obviously, your health is at kind of your choice. We're not necessarily saying that all the health tests and promises of this company are kind of safeguarded by us. They're kind of ultimately up to you to make a decision. I think because we have to kind of sit between businesses, consumers, to a degree we have to kind of make clear, just so you know, make your own decision with this one for those certain industries. I think sort of financial as well, businesses who may, say you'll get 50, 100% returns. On some we've had alerts saying, just so you know, these guys aren't regulated by the FCA. It says on the FCA they aren't regulated. Here's just our sort of consumer awareness for you. So I think it's a difficult one to tread. I think we probably wouldn't be on the, if a company is getting a lot of negative activity, if we can sort of see that via Trustpilot, we'd make that clear. But I think we probably wouldn't go out of our way to take that to regulatory bodies. I think that would probably be for others to do, based on us where we have to try and sit impartial in the middle and offer advice, yeah. Yeah, it's a good question. So say if you've got a profile and you've got 10,000 reviews in there for argument's sake. So Trustpilot has a tool called Review Insights, so that will categorise key themes coming up in reviews. So default ones might be like delivery, customer service, website, returns, etc. And it will categorise all the reviews, offer sentiment analysis about them. So it could be, for example, in the last 3 months, after Christmas, returns has dropped as a sentiment. Oh, why might that be? Oh, we know there's been issues with Royal Mail or different providers, etc. So that will give an indication to businesses to say, this topic's trending. Here's that sort of collated feedback in one place to give them insights from there. From a specific product perspective, that's not yet incorporated into that tool, but I think it's something that would be at some point. What you can do is see like at an aggregate level, all of the reviews for your products, how they're all ranked and rated, to then, I guess, zone into that feedback from there. Yeah, so the reviews are always set at a domain level. So if it's a replatform, absolutely fine. You just kind of set up the new integration with Trustpilot for kind of integrating invites and showcasing. If you have if your domain changes, you've got a brand new domain, then we can do something called a domain merge, whereby your old domain redirects to your new domain and your old Trustpilot profile redirects to a new one. If the SKUs are different, so it's based on SKUs in Trustpilot, if they're different, then you can just basically get in touch with our support team and say, oh, by the way, here's kind of the new product catalogue. These are the old ones. Can we just merge those across? Because, as you can imagine, nightmare situation if 1,000 are lost and you have to start from 0. It's a good question. I can understand from a site point of view, someone like, Chanel or Dior may not want to have reviews on their website because everyone knows of them, and they're not probably going to need the same level of trust signals that, say, a new kind of luxury fashion brand may need. What I'd say is that if someone's going to spend a lot on something, they want to make sure it's money well spent. It's going to be absolutely right. So they may go looking for reviews, and if a brand doesn't have them, that might put them off from buying. Whereas if you have some form of reviews, again, may not specifically be on the website, they could see great customer service, arrived on time, really happy with my diamond ring, etc. It's a good question. It's a good question. I think that there's a point where well-known brands, they're not going to get probably the same amount of, they're not going to have exactly the same needs as a new brand trying to build it out. But I think all brands need some sort of trust signals. People are looking for reviews. Nearly 90% of people kind of check reviews for making a purchase from the Canvas A report. So, yeah, it's an interesting one. My advice would be yes, but I'm going to say that. I see. So I guess to show how say Hermes or Every just wanted to rebrand, and they're like, oh, we're just going to create a brand new Trustpilot profile. It would also have to be based on the domain. So if the whole domain moved, all of the reviews from Hermes would move over to Every's. It couldn't be like, right, we're going to turn off Hermes' Trustpilot, create a brand new one from scratch. So Trustpilot's ultimately a consumer platform. Users own their reviews. Users decide who they want to review and what they can say, broadly speaking, as long as it doesn't contravene hate speech, other guidelines, illegal content, etc. So Trustpilot wouldn't say Hermes oh, we're going to shut down our Trustpilot, we're going to start again. We'd be like, no, you can't do that. We're not going to delete your profile. If a business shut down, was no longer operational, then they could close their business to any new reviews on Trustpilot. But if it kind of relaunched, then they'd have to reopen that.